There's an old saying, we don't keep fish, we keep water parameters. To do this, we test the water in our aquariums on a regular basis. We can do this with a variety of methods, from paper strips to electronic testers with digital readouts. One of the more popular ways is with API test kits. They come in master test kits as well as individually boxed tests, and they're readily available in fish stores and online. API tests require you to fill up a small glass test tube with 5 milliliters of your tank's water. You then add a few drops of 1 or 2 chemicals. Shake well, and then wait 5 minutes. Simple, but I have 2 problems: organization and stability. Once a month I run 4 more tests on all 16 of my tanks. Keeping track of which test tube goes with which tanks can be a bit confusing, and the test tubes themselves are not stable. Almost everybody I know has knocked one over, spilled, or broken a test tube at one time or another. But I have to put my test tube somewhere while I wait for the results. The tubes need to remain upright and stable, as well as organized. I need a test tube holder, so I decided to make one. I used a piece of lumber, a 1/2-inch paddle bit, some sandpaper, and some paint. This handy piece of aquatic equipment cost me almost nothing to make, and let me show you how. I'm going to drill 32 holes for this test tube holder. That gives me 4 rows and 8 columns, allowing me to test up to 8 tanks at one time. First I make a grid, using a pencil so I can sand the markings off later. To make the grid, mark off 1-inch increments the length and width of the board. Then draw the lines to connect the marks. The intersections are where you drill for the test tubes. I'm using a 1/8 inch bit to drill the pilot holes. Measure 3/4 of an inch and mark the bit with blue tape. When the bottom of the tape is level with the surface, stop drilling. Now I'll use the 1/2-inch paddle, marking the bit at 1 inch. Each hole then measures 1/2 inch across and 1 inch deep. This should be the right size to hold my test tubes in place. To complete this part of the project, sand the holder with medium grit sandpaper. Roll a small piece of sandpaper into a tube shape to sand the interior of the holes. Now let's see if the test tubes fit. The next step is to add a finish to your test tube holder. I'm using a water-based latex paint I found on sale at a local hardware store. You could use stain for a more natural finish. Wipe the dust off the holder before adding the finish. Don't overpaint the interior of the holes, or the test tubes might not fit right. Wait for the finish to dry completely before using your API test-friendly test tube holder. This whole project took about 2.5 hours. That's including 2 hours waiting for the paint to dry. Now I have a test tube holder that allows me to run up to 4 tests on up to 8 tanks at one time. I've labeled the holder so the numbered columns indicate the tank. The rows are labeled with letters for the separate tests, such as A for the nitrate test. This solves my organizational problem. As for stability, you can see the test tubes remain upright. Problem solved. It's an easy, low-cost solution for organizing and stabilizing test tubes while testing the parameters of your water. It's a simple fix, and you can do it yourself.